If you're painting watercolour landscapes, sooner or later you're going to have to paint watercolour trees. Let me show you how you can paint watercolour trees the easy way. So what I'm going to do to start with is a tree shape, burnt umber and some country olive. Paint the tree, trunk and some branches. Right, not too many branches. With the fan stippler, start with a light colour first. This is sunlit gold. And lightly stipple that over the right hand side of the tree. A little bit on the left. Then with some autumn gold, which is a warmer, more orange colour, stipple that into that sunlit gold. Add some of those colours underneath the tree. Then with a darker colour, so wash the brush out. This is burnt shadow and some autumn gold on the other side. Put that darker colour into the shady part of the tree. A little bit of shade underneath some of those leaves there. Then that dark colour underneath the tree. And if you wanted to add a few bushes and trees either side, use pretty much the same techniques. So dark on one half of the brush and light on the other half. Put a smaller bush in there. The half rigger, dark colour. And stipple the autumn shades into that small tree there. Fill that in. Hedgerow. Some grasses. With the half rigger, put the shading into the tree trunk underneath the branch. Add a few more branches in there. Small branch coming out at the bottom of the tree. And then simply add a fence. The next tree is going to be a winter tree. Now this is going to be slightly different. We're going to start with the fan stippler, and what I'm going to do first is actually paint in some ivy which is growing up the tree trunk first. So squeeze the water out of the fan stippler with a dark green. This is midnight green. Load the brush. Start at the base of the tree and you stipple with the brush pointing vertically like this, and you follow the tree trunk up like that, and the idea is you create a texture of the ivy growing up the tree trunk. Underneath, some grass. With a lighter colour, this is some sunlit green, and maybe just put that on the side of the tree there. With the half rigger, right, this is burnt umber with some green, country olive, and I'm going to add a little touch of shadow which will make it just a shade darker. Now paint in the tree trunk first, which goes right up to the top of the tree like that, then divides into branches and then into twigs. there's a large branch coming out here which fills in this gap on the side of the tree. Then another branch coming out here. Now the next step is to fill in the tree with what would hopefully look like twigs. Now you can sit there and paint at each twig in, but nobody wants to do that. So what I'm going to do is use some shadow, not too strong and certainly not too wet, with the fan stippler, and then stipple the shape of the tree lightly over the top of the branches. This is the equivalent to a dry brush technique. And fill that in a little bit into the centre, some shadow there. So just push the brush into the paper and create that, it's almost like a misty effect around the top of the tree. And again, if you've got a hedgerow, let's go for a little bit more green. Some burnt shadow, smaller bushes in there. Some shadow. Use the fan stippler to create some textures. Then with autumn gold, a darker colour, burnt shadow, and put that into the side of the bush there. Finish off with the half rigger. Again, just the hint of a few branches. Now this is still wet, so I'm going to let that dry off. While that's drying off, just put maybe again, just to make it a little bit more interesting, a style signpost. While that's still wet, I can use my fingernail just to scrape out one or two branches in there. Very, very simple.